Okay, so here's where I am. So in the distance, if you can make it out on the video, you've got the Canary Wharf, and towards that you've got the City of London. Now, I'm going to somewhere which is across the other side of the Thames. So it happens to be outside all of that, outside the City of London, outside the Canary Wharf. So what I thought I'd show you is the way that we have to cross. I have to cross today and get across the Thames. Now, if I was going round the M25, there's the Queen Elizabeth II Bridge that if you're going from north to south, you go over. It's a toll bridge. I mean, it was never meant to be a toll bridge all this many of years. It was supposed to be all up and paid for, but obviously constant maintenance on it, and half of it is French. So yeah. So, but going that way, I mean, the toll's like $2.50 or whatever for a car. But going that way takes you quite a lot further out, and then you have to come all the way back in again. So one way of getting across, without using the Dartford Tunnel or the QE2 bridge, one way or a few ways is if you're in central London itself. There's many bridges that you can get across. You've probably heard of them: Hammersmith Bridge, Tower Bridge, that's the one that lifts up and everything like that. Putney Bridge, Hammersmith Bridge when it's open. I don't think it's been open for the last 2 years. I'm not sure what they're doing with that. Battersea Bridge. So all those are to the right. So to the right, quite a long way to the right actually, in the City of London. So what you don't always want to do is go to the City of London. Now this is where all the Olympics was, on the left hand side. So all the Olympics when we held the Olympics 2012, if my memory serves me correctly. That was the Olympic Park. So you've got Dalston, Hackney, Stratford, New Spitalfields Market, and Westfield. Yes, Westfield. There's two, as far as I'm aware of. There's one in Shepherd's Bush and one here as well. Okay. So when we go across at different points further out from the capital, we've got a choice of maybe a couple of tunnels. One is the Rotherhithe Tunnel, which will get you across. But the Rotherhithe Tunnel, being built like all these tunnels, it's all Victorian engineering, and it stood the test of time, all this Victorian engineering. But it's no good now for modern traffic. So things like vans, if you've got a van or something like that, similar to what you can see in front, you're not allowed through it. And in fact, you'll get a nasty fine if you do. So, as my destination today is just a little outside towards Sidcup, that way, Elton, all them areas, I've opted to use the Blackwall Tunnel.
Warning, speed trap limit 40 miles per hour.
So the Blackwall Tunnel is another Victorian era tunnel designed to get traffic across the
limit 40 miles.
Enough to get traffic across the river. But obviously, being a tunnel, you know, you are limited to what you can go through it. So there probably are certain restrictions that I'm not aware of that will not allow you to travel through the tunnel. Probably, for example, if you've got something like a oil tanker or something like that, or a petrol tanker or anything like that. It's all to do with obviously fire safety, and also the Blackwall Tunnel, because of its design, because of how old it is, there are no exits that are close. So what you find, if something goes wrong in the tunnel, you could be in serious trouble. So, but the tunnel's monitored, obviously 24 hours a day. It's open all that time, and so we'll just, like, you know, I sort of think to myself, yeah, I'm going through here, I'm going to go through this tunnel, and everything's going to be okay. So, and yeah, most of the time, yeah, everything is okay. Also, you get masses and masses of congestion. So you get congestion usually in the morning going south. The traffic's sort of moving today, it's quite nice. So usually in the morning going south, and then we've got in the evening coming the other way, going from south to north. So the road I'm on at the moment is the A12, okay, and this is what's called the when it gets towards the tunnel, it'll be called the Blackwall Tunnel Northern Approach Road, okay. So that's when you have to make sure you get in the right lanes, get everything sorted before you go in there. So it's not bad. All these buildings, by the way, the station, the tube station, metro station, for anyone outside the UK, is Bromley by Bow, and we're in a place called Bow, which actually featured on the news the other day, I'm afraid. Not good news. I think it was all in the papers. So towards there, you've got lots of social housing being built and everything like this. Lots of new builds, lots of flat. Everything's flats now. Everything is flats. All the old buildings are being torn down. The old industrial buildings are being torn down. So everything is now flats and compartments and boxes and everything else. So as you can see, there has been quite a lot of development in recent years over here. This is what you call East London. So there's been quite a lot of development going on. Buildings coming up every 5 minutes, it would seem. Okay, so I think now we are just looking at the map. I think now we're heading on the Northern Approach Road. So obviously the speed limit changes every 5 seconds, and we're going into Blackwall Tunnel. There's some warning signs, and we're coming down into it now. Okay, so a few posters to see on the top there, and so as we go through under this bridge, we're now queuing at a set of traffic lights. Now this is quite good. I mean, it's 8:35 in the morning, and this is quite a good run actually. Sometimes it's queuing, you know, way back. Sometimes, but other times you can just go through it like this. And sometimes, if you're in the afternoon as well, when you're coming back from the south to the north, then yeah, it's it can be quite good to get through. You can see the barrier up there as well. That's to stop anything going through that shouldn't go through. So they'll have all different sensors and everything located at different positions along this route. And if you see just at the top right there, there's the Blackwall Tunnel control room. So now we're going through the Blackwall Tunnel. This is the well, obviously belonged to. I mean, it was open. There I am thinking it's Victorian. It was open 2nd of August 1967. Right, but if you can see on the right hand side the different exits and all that, there is nothing. So say like something happened here, right? To the right of you, you've got 211 yards to an exit, and then as we go further, 322 yards to the nearest exit, 376 yards, 432 yards. So there's no, as far as I'm aware, there's no like a service tunnel that will get you clear of any danger, right? So, but it looks like it's I mean, it's obviously maintained all this one. So now we come to the midway point where we've got 693 yards, 584 yards towards the end. So now we're actually under the Thames. So yeah. You just hope that they've put all the correct sealant in that they need to do, because I can't swim, especially if there's no air in the water. So yeah, this is the Blackwall Tunnel, everybody. So it'll be quite, for some of you that might be interested in this sort of thing. It's quite intriguing. And out the other end, we've got daylight. So yeah, it's quite a nice day today as well. Okay, so done what we needed to do down to where I was going earlier, and now it's better time than any to go back through the Blackwall tunnel. So now we're coming off the slip from the
Warning, risk zone. Speed
come
limit
from.
50 miles per hour.
Take that away as well. So we're coming onto the tunnel approach, or the A102 if you like. So we're going to be what's officially would be known as the Southern Approach Road, I suppose. So in the background, bow and all that. You might make out a cable car in the distance. I don't know if you can see it on there, but it's the cable car that goes around the Millennium Dome, I believe. So yeah, it's not far to go before we hit the tunnel. So there we go, the signs are up. Docklands, Blackwall Tunnel, A102, get in lane. Okay, does help at this stage if you're in the right lane. Now, one tip that you might enjoy is the fact that the first two left-hand lanes go into filter. So basically filter at lights, but the outside lane doesn't, which means generally you can get through. It doesn't matter this time of day anyway, but generally you can get through if it's quite busy. If you're in a car but not a truck, or a van, or a large van or whatever, then you're usually okay. So to go into the right lane. So now the speed restrictions now coming in force. So we've gone down to 30 miles an hour now. Okay, so we're going to just let this guy out here and make my way over to the right hand lane. There we go. And we are literally coming through the tunnel. These above there, these cameras on a pole, are what's known as specs, and they are average speed cameras. So it's no good speeding up before you get to them, and and slowing down and then speeding up again, because they'll get your average speed. So there you go. Okay, so the height restriction here is 2.8 meters on this lane, 4 meters on the other lane. So you see on the left hand side over there, they're all queuing. That's because the lights are filtering in. Okay, so now we're in to the Blackwall Tunnel, 1897. I was right earlier, yeah. Victorian engineering, Blackwall Tunnel. That's right, it's because there was two Blackwall tunnels. This is the Victorian one we're going back on. The one we come through earlier was the new Blackwall Tunnel. So this is the 1897 one, and the one in 1967 was the southbound tunnel that was built. So obviously when the first tunnel, which was this one, then you had basically just this. So you're supposed to keep in lane, so I don't know what he's doing. What he's done is he's not realised the height restrictions, so there he goes. So there you go. So as you see, if there is a lane closed off or something like that, the arrows will indicate on the above. So all these little poles, there's not enough clearance for lorries that are like trucks that are higher than 2.8 metres in this lane. The lanes are very narrow, you see. You can see how narrow these lanes are. Look at this. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to meet someone quite wide going around the corner. And you take bits of mirrors off and things like that. So you've got to be just mindful of your situation down here. So the nearest exit in front of me is 1,050 yards. The exit timing is about 490 at the time. There are some phones you can use to call if there's an issue. So at the moment we're under the River Thames. So yeah. You don't even really want to open your windows here either because of the exhaust fumes and things. If you're sitting in traffic for a while, this afternoon it's not too bad. If you're sitting in traffic for a while, you can sort of smell them. In there. Bend now. See how tight these bends are as we go round. Not a lot of room. So as we go up here, oh, another bend coming up. It's a gradual bend though. It's not it's as tight as the other ones. But yeah, you just got to be mindful that these lanes are really narrow.